Hello and welcome back. You've just seen the video whereby I unboxed my Brewzilla Steam Condenser, and in today's video it's going to be a three-part video. We're going to build it, we're going to test it, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. So basically, as I say, I'm just going to build it up here onto the Brewzilla, show you how it's put together. Then I'm going to do a quick test run with some water in it for two reasons. Number one, I want to see how much it reduces the boil off rate, which you need to put into your brewing software such as Brewfather. And number two, one of the advantages to the steam condenser allegedly is that it reduces your time to get from your mash temperature to your boil temperature. So I want to test that, give that a wee run. So what I might do is a wee side-by-side comparison, run the Brewzilla with the lid off and run the Brewzilla with the steam condenser attached and compare the times. Okay, so first things first, the camera angle is a bit shocking, but that is my Brewzilla. There's no funny play, no funny business. And we get the conical lid, which you can see fits on there and makes that look even more like a Dalek than it previously did. So, first things first, we have one of these, which I showed you before. This comes apart, and it's basically, I don't even know what you would call it, but basically that sits down on top of the lid. So the bigger bit, I'm not very good at showing this to the camera, the bigger bit sits down on top of the lid with the rubber gasket. So just let gravity do its thing, and then you turn it upside down and gravity doesn't do its thing anymore. So try and get that centered, put the other rubber gasket on, and then just simply screw that bit, which is like a little screwy bit, I guess. Just make sure it's all lined up. The rubber seals are making sure that it is a good seal. And you only really want to tighten that hand tight. It should look something like that. At this point I'm going to attach this to the Brewzilla and lock it in using the clips. Which are very sticky because it must have been poured over at some point. It's not been washed. Ho hum. So the next bit you want is your smaller T-bar. It's the one that actually says Brewzilla on it. The sort of bigger one doesn't say anything on it. This is the one that attaches to your to the top here. Okay. So what we want is, if you remember, I got a bag full of wee rubber gaskets or O-rings. I can't really show you on camera, but they are ridged on both sides actually, and that ridge coincides with a groove in all the fittings on this, which is handy. You'll want one of these, which I think these are called a tri-clamp or something similar, but it's basically looks like a handcuff, an old-fashioned handcuff. Okay. You want to be careful when you're putting this on. My pump tap is here, if that makes sense, so the pump comes up here, so you don't want it going that way. The actual tap is here, and the electric comes out the back, so I'm probably going to put it pointing to the front where the tap actually is. It might be the safest, and it's just a matter of holding that in place and applying the tri-clamp thing. So the next bit is just going to be the lid that goes on there, and you can see the groove that I was talking about for the rubber gaskets. So the rubber gaskets sit in there neat, and then you clamp them on. So next up is just like it's basically a stainless steel coin, which fits snugly on the top. Again, just a rubber gasket, position on top, Separation on top. Spin open. Everything just needs to be hand tightened, by the way. There's no point getting machinery in there to tighten that. The advantage of this bit here is you can take this off independently of the whole unit, and you can add hops through here. However, it does come with a very stern warning. Is that the right word? Look at all this wasted space over here. It does come with a very stern warning that this gets hot, and I for one am absolutely shocked that this gets hot with, you know, all the steam coming up here. Ho hum. What I'm going to do next, this obviously connects to this here, but what I want to do is build this bit first and then connect the whole thing to here, if that makes sense. So the next bit you get is this here, which I've shown you before. So basically water comes in here, comes down through this tube and is come out as a spray here, and that goes on the top of your like that. Should it be like that, or should it be like that? So most people have it that the small bit goes to the top, which I think makes sense in a way because you want this closer to the bucket that you're draining into. But at the same time, that then hangs below. I'll show you. So that's what that goes like inside. But it is what it is. That's what you do. So that's what I'm doing. So same again, rubber gasket. And then finally for this part, just then the bottom, which comes with a wee barb there. I'm so far away, you maybe can't see that. But it comes with a wee barb there, which you can attach a hose if you want to. So you can get it straight into a bucket with no splashbacks. Bear in mind the water coming out of here will be hot, so you don't want it splashing all around your feet. If you're like me and you wear flip-flops all the time. Yeah, I know, health and safety. So then for the final bit of construction then, we're attaching this to this. So as I mentioned before, there is a bit of a groove there, which helps you to a certain extent, or not at all. So preparation is key. This one bit is a little bit handsy, but I suppose you could, in theory, build this first and then attach it to there, but then you're going to have weight. I don't know. I don't know which way is the best way to build it. This is the way I built it. And there we have it. Steam comes up here, travels along here, water comes in here, sprays down here, steam condenses, water drips out here. Initial thoughts, how does the steam know to go across this way? I don't know. I suppose there'll be a bit of a vacuum as the water pushes down, bringing some air down with it will suck air in, I don't know. The only other thing that I've just noticed is this bit at the bottom here, which you can't really see on camera. Lift it up a wee bit. So this is where the condensed steam will come out, or the water will come out. That's flat. I would have thought that would have been like, you know, curved slightly, like a conical, to encourage all the liquid to come out through the bottom. Who knows? But yeah, it's a tidy looking system. I've seen someone build a thing to help support that, but this dome is quite solid. There's a little bit of wobble, but I mean, it's not going to get any heavier than it is right now, except for it is, because I forgot to do this bit. So this quick disconnect, if you can see it, comes with the kit, and it has a female thing, which if you remember had a male to male. So you screw that in there. Probably could use a bit of tape, that plumber's tape stuff. A little brass. And then the hose lock fitting goes on the other end of that. And Keglad have designed this so this just fits straight onto the barb. the top of it. So you just connect your hose directly onto there, the water comes out. Voila! So test number one, I have some water, 20 litres of water into the Brewzilla there. I've heated it up to 68 degrees, which is a regular mash temperature. I'm now going to up it from 68 to 100 and I'm going to time it. I've got the ink bird in through the chimney to give me an accurate reading of when it hits 100. So I just modified the setup just ever so slightly for this test. Obviously it's not going to be an entirely fair test because a certain amount of steam will come out through this hole. But that's just to put a thermometer in to accurately record the temperature. So the payoff on that is that that's lying open so the water can come out anywhere there. As you can see, go. And there we see 22 minutes, 24 seconds. It's probably a bit less than that, so we'll say 22 minutes from 68 to hot break. So what I can say about the system is that is very hot there. Not so hot. The vertical pipe is hot. The horizontal pipe is starting to get hot. This one is cold and the water coming out the bottom is cold. So you can see 21 litres there and a load of steam. So test number two is going to be the boil off rate. I've taken the chimney off, so again you can see when it comes back to a boil. Once that happens, I put the lid back on, start a 1 hour timer and see how much liquid is lost. We're about 30 minutes through the pseudo boil here. First thing to notice, we got about 12 and a half litres of off water. Some steam coming off that, which you can't really pick up on camera. Well, you sort of can. And there's some steam coming out the back here. Now, I worked that out earlier. That basically that's caused by the weight of this leaning down on one side of the lid. Sorry, terrible camera work. So I think when I do this properly, I'm going to endeavour to make sure that this line runs the same way as that line so that you're getting the maximum support from the clips, which will help prevent. But so far, you know, the windows aren't steamed up, there's no condensation on the roof. The other thing I should note is that the water in this bucket is holding at a steady 43 degrees. So that's warm enough to wash stuff with. Put a wee bit of, what do you call that stuff? Oxy cleaning. And it'll be a perfect cleaning temperature. So as you can hear, that is the end of the 1 hour timer. Hold on. So that is the end of the 1 hour timer. The room is warm, but there's no condensation on the ceiling. The window's fine, there's no condensation on the window. There's a bit of steam coming up, primarily from the bucket where the wastewater's coming, and a little bit, as I showed you before, from the lid on the new steam condenser. But overall, you remember what this used to be like whenever I had to do my brews indoors just with the normal lid. So far, so good. So I've seen a thing on one of the Facebook groups, may have been Brewzilla Official or one of the other ones, maybe David Heath or something like that, where some guy was using something similar, steam condenser, and it turned his kettle off and it just left it. Obviously the temperature comes down, which creates a negative pressure, and I think it was a grandfather he had just crumbled in the pressure. So first thing I did, as soon as I turned the kettle off, is I took the top of the, I'm going to call it a chimney. I'm going to take the bit where you would hop from. So I took that off, and right off you could hear like even just in a couple of seconds, just the pressure differential. So that's it. We got, what do we get? We got 20 litres of water, wastewater mixed with the condensed steam. But the point of this experiment was to see how much would actually boiled off. So how much is in there? If you remember, it was 21 litres in there, or was it 22? I can't remember, but video editing magic will tell you exactly how much that was. Interestingly, I don't know if you can see there, but it's actually down as far as 18.5 litres there. Look at the condensation on the camera. So it's down as far as 18.5 litres there, which would give me a boil off of about 1.5 to 2 litres, which is similar to what I already had. I'll need to do that experiment again. I don't know whether it's because of too much cold water running through it, it's sucking more of the steam out, or what. But it is what it is, you know, 2 litres per hour is what you get whenever you take the lid off anyway. I did expect to have slightly less than that, but yeah. So that's the end of the sort of testing it out video. Just a couple of points then. Really impressed with how quickly it got up to boil. I'm going to do a comparison. I can't do it today, it's absolutely lashing outside, and I don't want to have steam all over the house, which is one of the reasons why I bought it in the first place. So yeah, really happy with that. It feels quicker, if nothing else, and that, you know, moving from 75 or from 68 or 75 up to 100 is sort of one of the most impatient parts of the day, really, isn't it? What else can I say about it? 20 litres of water in the bucket then at the end of an hour-long brew. I've mentioned this before, I'm not an eco-warrior by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't like wasting water where I can help it. And, you know, when you put water through the immersion chiller, people say, you know, save that water and use it for cleaning or whatever, but I never do, because by the time I get to the point where I'm cleaning stuff, that water will have cooled down anyway, so what's the point? So I use it for watering the grass and stuff like that, or watering plants, shit like that, you know. But on this, it's slightly different. The water comes out, and on that experimental brew, it came out at, you know, 50 degrees, plus or minus 5 degrees. So that's perfect for using the OxyClean. That's the perfect temperature for OxyClean. So what I envisage I'm going to do is fill that bucket up with, you know, the hot water from the steam condenser, stick the immersion chiller in at the end of the brew day, and use the hot water from the bucket to clean out the fermenting vessel. You know, it takes about half an hour to 45 minutes to cool down from a boil to pitching temperature anyway, so that gives you enough time to wash and clean your fermenting vessel, and then, you know, get it star sand up. Value for money then, it's 180 quid I paid for the whole system, which includes the lid, all the fittings and fittings, the hose fitting, you know, basically the whole shebang. 180 quid seems like quite a lot of money, but for me, it's money well spent. Just even for that hour-long sort of fake boil, if you want to call it that. The steam in the kitchen was non-existent, and that's going to be, you know, it's going to be really important when we move to the new brew space. There is no extraction, there is no way of getting steam out of this building whenever I get there. So for me, it is going to be a game changer. It's going to allow me to continue brewing on any weather and any, you know, on any given day. It's absolutely lashing here in Northern Ireland today. So if I was ready to, I could do a brew, which, you know, I always can do brews on bad days here, because I can open the back door slightly and, you know, get a fan and blow the steam out through the fan or whatever. But, you know, it's a bit of a faff weather. That there, I just fire the hose through the window, and then that's it. You know, we're cooking on gas. So I'll leave it at that. I'm looking forward to using it for a proper brew day. There'll be some trials and tribulations. You know, that chimney's only about that size for getting your hops into. Bearing in mind it's going to be 100 degrees plus coming up through that chimney, you know, that's going to present its own challenges. So I'm looking forward to overcoming them. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say on it at the matter. All it remains for me to say is I don't have a beer because I have to go to work, so cheers guys.